Autumn is in the air, the pumpkins are in the patch, and our friends at Manscaped are here to make sure you don't carve your pants pumpkins when you're grooming. If you know what I'm saying. Make sure you're keeping things fresh this fall with the leaders in male grooming and their brand new 4th generation performance package. Boys, get ready for a cuffing season like no other. Ready to take the leap into fall with Manscaped? Join the 2 million men worldwide using Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code AgeOfRadio. First off, the new Performance Package 4.0 includes the new Lawnmower 4.0. If you're looking to cozy up this fall, this trimmer is essential. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker to chop your worst weeds up top in your nose and ear. This nose and ear trimmer uses 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system to provide proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. Then, after trimming the pumpkin patch and whacking the leaves, give your balls a boost and use Crop Reviver. Once again, get 20% off free shipping with the code AgeOfRadio at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code AgeOfRadio at manscaped.com. Make your balls a priority this fall. Choose Manscaped. Your balls will thank you.
Age of Radio.
All right, guys. Looks like everyone's ready. Hey, Jim, what is that?
What?
What is this stuff you got on our jackets here?
It's yeah, we're the Dayglow Psychos. We gotta have a thing, right? Now we got black light. People can see us.
I thought that was just.
I thought it was a good
It
idea.
was just a dumb name you guys came up with. I didn't know you were actually going to bring the paint.
You know, guys, Travis makes a good point. I'm not really comfortable with this look. I mean, it's not complimentary at all.
But we already spent the money on the paint.
Yeah, you guys are just being contrary. You're just not going along. We got to have a gimmick, right? Every good gang in Gotham's got to have a gimmick.
Okay. Just let me ask one thing. We were gonna rob some stores tonight,
Yeah.
right? Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what do stores have to catch people like us?
Security cards.
Cameras?
Oh, that's a better answer.
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah. So we're gonna be on those cameras, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what might make us stick out just a little bit more than we would have maybe 10 minutes earlier?
I see where you're going with this, Travis. And really, the paint, actually, it disguises us because you can't get a good shot of any of our features, and it also covers up any tattoos we might have. Right, Edward? Look,
I think he's right. I mean, that's why I put it all over my face like this.
And guys, you know what? I think Travis makes a good point. I don't feel like it's yeah, it might cover up some stuff, but we show up under black light, and it makes us look like, well, we've painted ourselves with, you know, human secretions.
What? Secretions?
Oh, you're just saying that because you've watched Inside Edition way too many times to that whole, you know, look what a hotel room looks like. You're just saying that you just heard the word secretions. Get out of here with your $5 words, Edward.
I saw that episode. It was really good.
I don't want to say that it looks like that we're painted with jizz paint, but jizz paint. It's just we look. That's what we look like.
What? I don't want to be painted with jizz paint.
I just don't want to get caught, guys, okay? It's all over our face. People are going to see our faces. It's going to illuminate our faces.
Oh, shit, guys. Batman's here. No time to wash this brilliant idea off that I totally had. We better go fight Batman now.
Oh, no. I don't want to fight Batman.
Especially since it looks like we're covered in jizz paint.
Yeah.
Enough with the jizz paint!
You know when I pick a movie, that's when I'm under pressure now. The question always comes back to me. What were they thinking now? Whoa, what were they thinking? What were they thinking?
No, welcome.
No, thinking. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. We crossed our lines. This is the What Were They Thinking podcast. We talk about bad to questionable movies every week, and I am Brendan.
I'm Nathan.
And we are starting off. I mean, we kind of started off last week, but not really because it wasn't a summer movie. But last week was, of course, Kids in the Hall, but it was our Canada Day special. So this week, we are officially starting off summer flopbusters, summer schlockbusters, summer smock flusters.
Flockbusters.
Mockbuster. Well, that's I think that might be an Asylum trademark. And
No, that's a mockbuster. I said flockbuster, like a bunch of
Oh, okay, or like Sully. Would that be a flockbuster? We are of course, yes. We're starting off all movies that were released, all summer blockbusters. We're welcomed here by our guest returning to the show, Val Kilmer expert, Mr. Francis Rizzo III. Welcome, sir.
Hello, boys. How are you doing today?
Francis, you come to the show. You are a Val Kilmer expert. You have a Val Kilmer podcast. So tell us a little bit about your Val Kilmer expertise coming into this film.
So, I have my main focus on Val Kilmer, as far as my personal interest in Val Kilmer, is on his comedy. I really enjoy his comedy. And, because his first two films I saw of him were Real Genius and Top Secret, which are undisputed classics of comedy. And so for his action stuff is a little less of a high point for me, but at the same time, I think, and we will get into this, I'm sure, I think he is a fantastic Bruce Wayne and an okay Batman. And so Batman Forever really, it's not great, but I definitely enjoy it because Val Kilmer's in it. It puts it above a lot of the other Batmans for me.
I can already tell we're coming in hot on this one.
It took everything in me not to be all Trump about that and be, no, wrong, lie.
Yeah, I can accept all views on Val Kilmer. Believe me, as somebody who's watched many Val Kilmer films for KilmerCast, I've seen the best and the worst. And Batman Forever is definitely more towards the better end of the scale than the worst end of the scale. I have no arguments with you that Batman and Batman Returns are fantastic. They are great. This is its own creature. It's its own entity. And I also believe that it actually is an analog in many ways to the original Batman 66 series. And so if you like that, there's a good chance you'll like this film.
I feel like I might need to step in as a referee here, potentially as this film rolls along. But it's been a long time in the making, I think, because we've referenced this movie on the show many times. Tommy Lee Jones' famous quote to Jim Carrey: "I will not sanction this brand of buffoonery." Obviously, Val Kilmer also did not enjoy working with Jim Carrey, even though he kind of denied it at the time. I don't think a lot of people enjoyed working with Jim Carrey so much, especially when he gets really deep into character, as we've seen in that Man on the Moon documentary. But nevertheless, Batman Forever, this movie came out in 1995. It has a budget of about $100 million, which is big now.
And it's all there. It's all there on screen, too. That money it's there. You can see it in every frame of this film.
Yep, in Val Kilmer and Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey and Nicole Kidman's pockets. I agree. This movie
every statue of a man with just muscular, chest and arms, it's all right there on the screen.
I think they more likely had the world record for Dutch angles in a movie before Battlefield Earth came out.
I will agree with that.
This movie also made a ridiculous sum of money. As much as we talk about how this movie was critically maligned at the time, and maybe not so much as the one that followed this, but this movie made $336 million, which, I mean, nothing to sneeze
So
at
much.
for sure.
So much money. And then that's not even counting the toys. I mean, the toys.
Wait a second, guys. Are you saying that this movie was made intentionally with the intent to sell toys? How dare you?
I want to say this was a McDonald's tie-in, and that's because actually McDonald's complained about the second film being too dark to sell toys and Happy Meals, and so I believe they sold the glasses for these, like the drinking glasses with the etching of the characters on it at McDonald's.
Plot.
So Batman Forever, 1995, directed by Joel Schumacher. He's taken over the franchise, still a Tim Burton production, but not directing. And it starts off with color-appropriate credits, right? Because all the colors of the actors' names kind of pertain to their character. Like I think Tommy Lee Jones is in purple, Robin is Chris O'Donnell's in red, Nicole Kidman's in yellow, which represents the color of horniness. Because she is super horny in this movie, by the way.
That's her character's name.
Dr. Horny.
Well, it's just another doctor who wants to sleep with her patients, which is nothing new to our podcast.
No, it's another doctor that is not a good doctor in that way. Very unprofessional. We do start off this movie with the reddest of red flags because we've just been through. The audience has seen 2 Tim Burton dark Batman movies. Admittedly, Batman Returns got a little goofy at times, but it always was pretty dark overall. But we start off this movie with Batman making a joke right from the get-go because Alfred asks him if he wants a sandwich to bring along, and he says, "I'll get drive-through." So right away you're like, okay, there's a different tone going on here.
So they could sell that clip to whatever restaurant did the tie-in.
I'm positive as well that is absolutely the commercial. I'd have to look it up, but I'm sure they used it in the commercial.
Now, to be fair,
Uh,
the first one or the second one did have a pretty obvious Pepsi commercial.
Yeah.
The gentleman will be driving a car. No, I think you'll know the
Diet
type
Coke.
of car.
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke, right.
Yep. Because that was... I won a promotional copy of the VHS for the first Batman movie.
Yes, it plays before the movie.
And yeah, it was like it was played before the preview, or as a preview. Yeah.
I remember because as a kid, I always thought that was part of the movie because I was just a stupid kid, so I didn't know. But we cut quickly to Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, and he's got Bobo Wayne Knight kidnapped.
Yes.
This guy is my favorite character in this entire movie, by the way.
It's boiling
The security guard.
acid!
His deliveries at every point are just, they're choices that are made that are amazing. He just, every line, and I believe he plays 2 characters in this film, because later on he pops up again, I believe. There's no credit for it in the credits because I looked, because God help me, I'm obsessed with this guy. Later on, he does a similar terrible line read when Batman breaks through the ceiling during the Enigma Tech party, and I swear it's the same guy. It's either 2 different characters, or somehow the security guard who got pulled away in the vault in the beginning somehow became a millionaire because he's in his tux later in the film. Maybe he won a settlement due to the problems that he had after getting his glasses torn, ripped up by the acid in the bank vault.
Maybe he just
he
had some sticky fingers in the bank vault.
Are you talking about the guy later on that goes, "Batman, yay"?
The very same man, yes. I don't know what's happening there, but it's amazing, that delivery.
I think all of his dialogue in this opening scene is terribly ADR'd, because you see his mouth at one point when he's talking about we'll get to it, but it's moving and the dialogue is not matching it. But speaking of choices, Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face is just. We've talked about people that are chewing scenery, that are eating the scenery. This man is devouring the scenery.
I don't understand where he gets off telling Jim Carrey, "I cannot sanction your brand of buffoonery," with the hijinks that he gets up to in this movie.
Do you think he felt challenged though?
Maybe
that he had to.
I have a theory.
You have a
about
theory?
this.
Yes,
Okay.
give us your theory.
My theory is that Tommy Lee Jones looked at Carrey's performance and said, you're ridiculous, and I'm going to show you how ridiculous you are by acting the same way to you. And you can see how terrible this is. And yet Carrey was just like, yeah, that's cool.
Meanwhile, they just compliment each other through the entire movie.
Listen, I've got a hot take right off the bat. I think these two have terrific chemistry.
This again, I take no qualm with Jim Carrey's performance in this movie or Tommy Lee Jones.
Nathan, we're going to come to blows then, because I can't stand Carrey in this film. He is ridiculously over the top, and he's doing, I don't know what he's doing, to be honest, because it's not this character.
He's doing Jim Carrey in the 90s.
Yeah. I mean, he takes it to a level that is painful to watch. I mean, especially when he starts doing his bits from his own stand-up and his own characters that he does, he is no longer the Riddler and Edward Nygma. He is, Jim Carrey on screen.
You're breaking my heart, Anakin, is all I can say at this moment right now, because he is like the saving grace for me of this movie. So we're on complete opposite ends here, but that's okay. So Two-Face has Bobo Wayne Knight, and he has I wrote down the line because I love his delivery when he's like, "It's nothing but luck. Blind, simple, stupid, clueless, doodah luck." He's doing the Joker, right? He's essentially doing the Joker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And on this point, I will say I love Tommy Lee Jones in this film. I think he is doing the right thing because he's playing a character who's insane, and he is acting insane. But at the same time, he has those little dark moments where you can see the logic coming through and reason, and those are even scarier because that's the guy who can pull things off.
And I could have used a lot
done.
more of that, because there's parts where there's one part where he thanks Bruce. He's like, "Thank you, Bruce. You've always been such a," and he's like, just a dead calm comes over him before he takes that manic swing in the other direction, and that was really good.
Yeah, because most of the time he's at an 11 in this movie.
And I wish they had done that a lot more than they did in the movie.
And I don't know when we will talk about this. I'm sure we will talk about this, but there's a good chance that he did do that more, and we just never saw it.
Yeah, because Schumacher. This movie there was a lot of stuff cut out of this movie. But we quickly cut from that to meet Chase Meridian, who I believe also is a bank, played by Nicole Kidman. Also could be Dr. Horny Pants, as we said. She sees Batman show up. Commissioner Gordon is also there, barely in this movie, has like maybe 5 lines in the entire movie. But they go on back and forth about Two-Face and having hostages, and she says, he's bound to kill them all. He's a psycho. He won't care. And he says,
very professional for a psychiatrist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very movie psychiatry. And he calls her. He says, your theories are good, naive but insightful. Like you're a cute lady, but And they have some sexual back and forth already. Like she wants to fuck him in that suit, right? Like she wants to fuck Batman hard.
100%.
Well, Val Kilmer, actually, it's funny that we're talking about this movie at this time because Val Kilmer has recently gone on Twitter and alluded to the fact that in Batman Forever, Batman totally would have gone down on Dr. Chase Meridian.
Without a doubt. There's a scene where they are together and she says that she no longer wants the Batman, she wants Bruce Wayne. And he turns and basically faces the camera, and the smile on his face goes from edge to edge of the cowl. It's insane how happy he is at that moment. And yes, that is when he would perform his Batman duties.
It was like a Joker smile. So Batman is like, okay, I got to go stop Two-Face. He gets in there. He, Tommy Lee Jones is like, I'm just going to say right now, guys, it's taking a lot of willpower in me not to just quote this movie from top to bottom. So I'm going to try really hard. But he gets in the elevator, and of course, Tommy Lee Jones is telling all his goons to like just shoot at the elevator because that always works in these movies.
Why does Two-Face think Batman's going to take the elevator?
Well, he does.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Why? But I mean, like, what I mean when I say that is like, why does he think it's just going to be him like standing in there? He's pushed to and just waiting and waiting. Listening to Girl from Ipanema or something.
Yeah, just a bad Bad plan on his part.
Yeah, well, it's weird. Even if he does think that he'll take even if he saw him go to the elevator, it's weird that he's just like, well, he'll just stand there, right? But of course, Batman swoops in from the elevator and kicks everyone's ass, along with goofy sound effects. You're like, uh-oh, red flag number 2.
That electrical sound you're talking about?
Yeah. Not as much as the next one, but it starts here. But yeah, he gets out of there, and then he finds Bobo Wayne Knight, and of course, at the last second, as he's taking the tape off his mouth, he's like, "It's a trap!" A la Admiral Akbar. They get caught
with way less dignity.
Way less. They get caught in this giant tanker, and then of course I love this because Tommy Lee Two-Face is pouring the thing is like pouring acid into it, and he says it's boiling acid as if just regular acid is not boiling.
Or corrosive.
It's important.
Yeah,
it's an important distinction you have to make.
Very important distinction.
It's not only is it going to burn you with its corrosive nature to begin with, but it's also reached its boiling point. So you're going to get a pretty nasty scald as well.
No,
Thankfully,
it's going to be uncomfortable in there. The humidity is going to be awful.
Sounds like New Brunswick.
But just think about the exfoliation. Your pores will look great when it's all done.
But thankfully, Batman,
you won't have them, though.
Batman is quick on his feet, and he steals his hearing aid. And Francis, what does he say when he steals his hearing aid?
Now I can't remember. What does he say?
He just says, "Hey, that's my hearing aid." Thanks.
Again. You know, just the best deliveries from this guy who I wish I knew who he was. Because,
my
again,
shoes are melting. But he makes it out. He sets up his little, bat string so that the tanker can land safely in a building with fake Wayne Knight, and he's alive and he stays alive and everything.
Can we talk about this escape a second? Okay,
I don't
so
know what flaws you're going to point out.
They're in a bank vault.
Oh,
as far as I'm aware, bank vault doors are pretty heavy.
Most of them aren't usually on rails either.
This is true. Batman does not have super strength.
Nope.
Batman is a standard human, of course, well-trained, muscular.
A mortal man.
Certainly. Yes. He lifts this bank door, just pushes it up with no real ability to support himself because he's leaning on these safe deposit boxes in the vault and somehow can lift the entire bank door off the vault like that. I mean, I get it's a cartoon. I understand that. But we need to have some sort of reality in here to be able to say, okay, I buy it that he can do this because in the end, he's the greatest detective. He's not a superhero.
I'm surprised that Schumacher didn't come up with some sort of bat-themed thing to help him lift,
Yeah. Something from the utility belt, some sort of explosive that maybe pushed it out, or a pneumatic pump that he could open it up with. Something besides being essentially a superhero.
Go, bat bicycle pump.
Did you guys find it weird that Gotham had a Statue of Liberty?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't aware it was New York City.
Did you? And if you did think that, it was dismissed right away because the word Gotham was spelled right across her crown.
The Statue of Freedom, I believe they called it, because we're not gonna tell the difference.
Alternate universe and everything.
Yeah, Zack Snyder's multiverse or whatever. So yeah, he does make it out of there. He makes it into he's hanging off the end of Two-Face's chopper. He gets up to the window. Two-Face just blindly shoots the pilot, just not even caring.
No forethought whatsoever.
I do like that, though, and I will agree. Two-Face, he does have, like, pure psychotic moments, which is most of the movie. Mm-hmm. But I do believe that he would just, like, freak out and shoot his own pilot.
Makes sense.
And even
he's
the guy
bad
knows,
at plans.
because even the guy is like, whoa, wait! But then, of course, Batman finally does get into the chopper, and Two-Face is like, goodbye, and has a specially designed parachute. Where did he get that made?
There's so much questions I have about the specific things that the super villains have made, from costumes to infrastructure to
how is he paying all of these foot soldiers that he has? Because, he's not successful.
No. They don't get treated well. Most of them die.
Yeah.
Or at least get electrocuted and go.
I mean, he pays for He pays for custom costumes so they all match up.
Yeah. Black on one side, red on the other, safety pins, the whole 9 yards.
But yeah, he makes it out of there. By the way, at one point the chopper just goes right through like a neon sign, and I'm like, don't know how they didn't explode on that one.
It didn't bust a rotor or anything.
Nothing at all. They're perfectly fine.
My favorite part of the helicopter is the fact that in order to stop Batman, he puts the club on the controls of the helicopter. Which, I mean, I think today most people don't understand what the club is because it's not a thing anymore. But I mean, it's just basically a metal device that they put across the your steering wheel to keep it from driving. I don't even know if it worked. I never had a club myself.
It did work. It did work, but I actually made this note when that happened. Oh, so now Batman can only turn the chopper left. Because that's the way the club worked, is like you extended it so that one piece stuck out so far that you couldn't rotate the wheel entirely.
Ah, okay.
So you couldn't turn left.
Much like Zoolander.
Because it would bang up against the right, exactly. So you can only turn the thing in one direction. So if you wanted to do a turn in a car that had the club on it, you had to like do donuts and catch it at the right time and go straight when you finally come around to your turn again.
Well, guys, we quickly cut away from that though and go to Wayne Enterprise, their electronics department, and no, not the one at Sears, the research and development. Which we quickly meet Francis's favorite performance in the film, Jim Carrey as Edward Nygma, playing a.k.a. the Riddler later on. And also, hilariously, Ed Begley Jr. as his boss, who enters the scene talking about alternative fuel. And I laughed so hard.
Yeah, did you know that was Ed Begley Jr.?
No,
Yes.
I had to look it up.
I was shocked because I was like, wait, this guy looks familiar, but I don't know who he is. And it's because he didn't have glasses on.
Yeah, he did look really different, honestly. Like, once I found out it was him, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. It wasn't like a Tom Cruise Tropic Thunder level of confusion, but...
No. I was like, I know this guy.
Yeah.
I did find it interesting
yeah,
that Nygma had a Riddler bobblehead, and I was like, that seems... What? Why?
And isn't it... He has a full-sized Riddler...
Yeah, like Zoltan from Big.
Who looked... I think he was supposed to be Frank Gorshin, right?
Well, you 100%, except for the hair.
It had the hat.
He had the hat, but not the hair.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Carrey was obviously pulling huge from Gorshin's performance in the 60s series. Actually to a detrimental level at several points in the movie, I found. Like, he does a really good job when he's hitting that sweet spot. He does it. It's really good. But when things go to a Ace Ventura level with the Riddler, that's when you're like, all right, Schumacher should have been like, all right, dial it back just a little bit. Just bring it back a little bit.
Yeah, see, Nathan, now we're copacetic because that's exactly what I'm talking about when I say I hate Carrey's performance in here, is because when he takes it to that level where he's performing his own act, he's not being the Riddler anymore. He's just being Jim Carrey. And that drives me nuts because I want him to be... I like Jim Carrey as an actor. In many films, I've enjoyed him. Not in this film at all.
Schumacher should have had a tighter rein on him. I think there's some really good spots with Jim Carrey in this movie, but there's also, really terrible ones, like when Two-Face is trying to teach him how to punch.
Oh no, that scene is great. Don't you dare.
When Nygma's hosting his own party and just filled with envy of Bruce Wayne, despite the fact that he's now clearly a millionaire. Like, I don't get it. He's clearly a millionaire at that point, and I know we're jumping ahead, but he's made tons of money on this invention. Why does he need to keep being the Riddler?
I'll give you a better question. Why is there a Riddler? There's no reason for this character in this film. Because he does not know that Bruce Wayne is Batman. He's trying to be Bruce Wayne, but doesn't know that Bruce Wayne has an alter ego. Why is he the Riddler? There's no need for that character in his world. There's
no thematic reason why he would even pick that gimmick. You know, like that specific gimmick. Like, why the riddle, the whole idea of a riddle, like that doesn't seem to be part of his personality.
They certainly don't make that clear. I mean, but all the stuff that he has back at his lair, for lack of a better term, at first, is all very, Riddler oriented.
Maybe he's just a real big fan of the TV show.
Actually, his
show exists in this
there
universe
is a,
as a TV
there is
show.
a theory. I swear I will talk about it later, but there is a theory about why this and Batman and Robin are so different from the first two. But I digress for now. The fact that he's the cheese has slipped off the cracker in regards to him, and that's kind of thing that pushed it over. And his take on the Riddler actually reminded me of Jamie Foxx's take on Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah, where he's absolutely obsessed with this being, in this case Bruce Wayne, in that case Spider-Man, and when they finally meet them, it's so they feel it's so underwhelming and even kind of insulting that they go 180 degrees in the other direction and become full-on anti that person.
Well, so here's the thing. So this is the beginning where we first meet Edward Nygma. My only thing, because I do enjoy Jim Carrey in this movie, just because he's so insanely off the wall that I don't know. It's just a weak spot for me. I can't help it. But my thing is that if he's starting as Edward Nygma, I don't think he should start at an 11. Like, I think as he becomes the Riddler, he should get crazier. And then when he eventually gets, like, super smart at the end of the movie, that's when he should be completely off the wall. I think there should be more of a gradual build, because we come in and he's already crazy Jim Carrey. Like, that's only my only thing, is that it should be more of a build. Tommy Lee Jones being psychotic the whole time kind of makes more sense to me than Jim Carrey just being unhinged the whole movie.
And that's because we've missed his journey.
Yeah. This movie is mostly a Riddler origin story. Tommy Lee Two-Face's origin is a 15-second clip on a TV that Bruce Wayne watches in one scene. Inexplicably, he's just watching his origin story on the news.
Yeah, that's a very strange scene, especially when you see how he became Two-Face, which was because a manila folder blocked the acid on half of his face.
and the best part was that Batman was there in court in full Batman regalia and jumps the friggin' the banister in the court to try to help Harvey before it happens. Okay, first of all, why is Batman in like the gallery in Batman gear? Was he a material witness against the mob boss that was on trial?
He's just a
Not
big
only
fan.
that, but you might be asking, do we get footage of that? You darn right we do. But either in this scene, just to wrap this up really quick, in this scene, Edward Nygma has this device that hooks up to your brain. He basically, what he tells Bruce is it's going to make you feel like you're inside the show of whatever you're watching. And he's egging him on. Ed Begley Jr. is telling him to shut the fuck up. And apparently Francis is doing the same thing too. And
now, does this device make it feel like it's 74 degrees inside your head all the time?
No, 73 actually, so it's not quite as
73.
good.
Oh. Not quite as good as Gleamanex.
but he does. See last week's episode. But he does. So Bruce Wayne he pushes and pushes and pushes, and Bruce is like, "Well, then no, like I don't want your idea because it sounds dangerous and unethical." And at that moment, Jim Carrey is like, "Fuck Bruce Wayne!" like immediately. So at that point, after we get the booty call bat signal, where Nicole Kidman puts on the bat signal, by the way, not getting arrested for that for some reason.
Yeah.
And makes a reference, by the way, to Batman Returns, because she says, "What do I need? Skin tight leather and a whip."
Yeah.
Which I said yes.
that would help considerably.
Nicole
actually.
Kidman, you do that if you want, and I will not oppose it.
How does she have access to the top of the police department and the bat signal?
No, the best part about that whole scene is that Gordon comes up right after and he's like, "I saw the signal. What's going on?" Dude, this is your signal.
Yeah, you're the only guy who uses this thing.
You should have the only key.
Yeah.
You should not be. How did a psychiatrist just waltz into the police station, climb up to the roof?
A new in town psychiatrist.
Yeah, she charmed her way up there. Look how she's dressed. Nobody was stopping her.
But we cut back to the Wayne Enterprise electronics department at Sears, and Ed Begley comes in and he fires Edward, and he gets angry and hits him with a coffee pot and says, "Caffeine will kill ya."
Again.
Yeah, no, that didn't need to do that, Jim. Didn't need to do that.
That's in Living Color. That's a scene from In Living Color just put right there in the movie.
He should have hit him with a teapot and said 1 lump or 2.
No,
I've already instantly made that better.
He should have, just before he hit him with the pot, said, "Let me show you something." But he hooks him up to the brain machine. He's got Ed Begley Jr. all tied up and everything. And we quickly find out that this is not just a 3D TV, but it pours his brain juices into Edward Nygma's brain.
So he can basically, see everything about you.
I'm vacuuming your cortex, feeding off your brains. We get a whole song.
It hurts my heart every time I hear another line from him. Like, it really hurts.
I've got lots, so don't worry.
At one point he says, "I'm losing resolution," and then cranks up a canister. I don't think that's how television resolution works.
And then you get a great, more like electronic cartoony noises. Ed Begley Jr., by the way, needs to know his place as a person tied up in a chair, because he's very much like, "I'm going to report you to this. I'm going to report you." I'm like, dude, this guy is clearly psychotic. You have no leg to stand on, like, at all. He's going to murder you.
Yeah.
And he does that.
But he doctors the footage to make it look like Ed Begley killed him.
Okay, so
Right.
let's talk about that a second, because
I didn't understand that at all.
yeah, because my problem here is that this guy is wasting all of his time making these, inventions here, when he is the world's most talented computer animator and can make footage that...
Yeah, given that this was 95, 96?
He could have started Pixar.
Yeah, he tricked Bruce Wayne, the world's greatest detective, showed him footage, and they were like, "Yeah, that's good. That's."
Everybody. Well, it's clearly suicide. Hell of an investigation. I gotta say,
I have to contend he may have tricked Bruce Wayne, but these are also the dumbest cops I have ever seen, because Jim Carrey is doing like a Jim Carrey level of phony
Sadness,
sentimentality, because they show up and he's like, "He said he was really upset. Here's a letter. You'll find it matches his exact handwriting." And it's like comedy, like goofy comedy level, which is like, whether you find it funny or not is whatever. But the fact is that these guys would not believe that performance.
Yeah, if anybody said it matches his handwriting exactly, we're like, well, we have to look at this guy.
You might as well put the cuffs on him right there.
Yeah. We do, after that, we actually don't go to the Riddler's lair, but when we do that, we get a glimpse of one of the things that does make this movie a little worthwhile, and that is the soundtrack. The soundtrack for this movie is insanely great.
The soundtrack and the score in general. Just the music itself, the song choices are fun. And this is my favorite song cue. The song that's like, "You hate your boss at your job." Yeah, Riddler, he's not the Riddler yet, but I mean, Edward Nygma is in his little lab, and he's designing an outfit. Or he's designing a riddle, sorry. Because we did have an original riddle early on when Ed Begley Jr. died, which, again, like you said, Francis, I don't know why he puts a riddle there.
No. There's another issue here, is that, again, like I said, he fooled Bruce Wayne with the video, which obviously, again, he's the greatest computer animator in the world. However, he also handled this riddle with no gloves. There are fingerprints all over this thing. And Bruce Wayne can't figure this out?
And he puts another riddle right on the front gate and goes, "See you soon."
So Wayne Manor, no security systems whatsoever.
Yeah, obviously, Bruce Wayne doesn't care about security. He's known to be just open.
Well, he doesn't need to. He's Batman. No one's ever threatened his life. But that's okay, because Bruce is getting these riddles, and he decides to go seek out the qualified doctor opinion of Nicole Kidman, to which she says, "Well, he's a total wacko."
Yeah.
He breaks down her door at one point, and just, rather than be like, "Sorry about the door," he tries to stand it up and put it back into place like a total goober.
There is a funny little line, though, where he does do that because he thinks she's getting attacked because she's working out or whatever. And then when he says, "Oh, sorry, I'm Bruce Wayne," and she says, "Oh, great, you can afford to buy me a new door then." Like Nicole Kidman, I don't care how good or bad the movie is, she's always great.
She's fantastic. She's
great in this, and she's horny as hell, and I'm here for it.
It's funny, why is she kickboxing?
So she can make those noises to make it sound like she's being
there's
attacked.
no other reason for that.
No, because otherwise she's a damsel in distress.
But she never is physical in any other way in the film.
She punches one guy. She punches one henchman, which I'm like, yeah, anybody could. They're henchmen.
Yeah. They can't see with those masks on their face.
But yeah, they're talking. She says he's a total wacko. And I don't know. I feel like I asked you this question before, like off the air, Francis. But they're talking about they're kind of talking about his past, and he sees an ink blot, and he's like, "It's a bat." And she says, "Oh, you see what you see." But then he goes, his delivery completely changes as he looks at her, and he says, "Tell me something, doctor. Do you like the thircuth?"
It is out of nowhere.
It's noticeable, right?
Yeah.
Like an RKO.
Yeah.
It's a very strange change right there in that scene, because you think they're leading towards something psychological, and then he's like, "Do you want to go to the circus?"
And it's a charity circus.
He has a lisp all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I don't. Did he bite his tongue right before they started shooting?
It's very possible. When he hit the door,
Bit my out. I'll get you a new door. It'll be fine.
Oh, suffering succotash looked like Two-Face is at it again.
I mean,
that's some pretty sweet kickboxing moves you got there.
I mean, if you've seen The Saint, he loves to put an accent on, so he might have just been having fun there.
Oh boy. So they go to the thircuth, and they see the flying Graysons. Oh, who could that be? Is that Robin?
Well, this is actually kind of on point with one of the Robin origin stories. They kind of actually got this a bit right.
Yep. It's Chris O'Donnell as Robin and his family, and there are a bunch of trapeze artists, and they're doing a show, and everybody's having a good time and enjoying the circus. Bruce actually slips up at one point, which I was like, that is like a cartoonish slip up, because at one point Nicole Kidman says, like, I've fallen for someone else. I think he feels it too. And he goes, "Sure does." What? Oh, I mean, who wouldn't? Come on, Bruce. Come on. We also introduce a character that is seen a couple times in this movie named Gossip Gertie.
She's the best.
I'm obsessed with her.
She's the best.
Edward, how does it feel to be the city's newest, most eligible bachelor? Gotham must know. Oh, there's Bruce Wayne. Brucey!
She's like a cross between Joan Rivers and like Kitty Carlisle or something.
It's truly amazing, that performance. It's it is so over the top and ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
So the thircuth doesn't go as planned, of course. Two-Face interjects, takes over the ringleader's stand, and, starts, like, terrorizing everyone. And as that's happening, I don't know what they told Jim Carrey to react to, but Two-Face says something like, I don't even remember what he says, like, there's going to be destruction. And Jim Carrey's literal laugh is, ah! What was that?
Did you ever hear Gorshin laugh as the Riddler?
But I don't, like, what was he reacting to? Because it wasn't that.
Not what was on the screen, no. Which, by the way, they were, showing this live on TV, this circus.
The circus, they should have cut to a technical difficulties as soon as the wanton terrorist showed up.
Who kept recording? Oh man, this is gonna be great.
Let's keep the live feed going, fellas.
I would the little technical difficulties sign with like a little tiger tail hanging down or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, Two-Face is like, one of you pasty-faced twits is Batman. Which one of you is it? And he's like, you have 2 minutes. And he's like, tell me which one of you is Batman or who's Batman. And Bruce literally gets up immediately and is like, I'm Batman. How did no one hear him?
They were all yelling and screaming in terror.
Especially Chase, who is right next to him.
But that's what I mean. Nicole Kidman's right there.
Absolutely.
She did not hear him say, I'm Batman.
He was pretty full-throated. Nobody was missing that.
So he tries to like get over Bruce Wayne. I actually kind of like this, is that Bruce Wayne is like actually fighting some of these henchmen, which is kind of cool. Like he goes over to stop Two-Face and he actually has to get physical with some of the guys. It's funny though that when he's Bruce Wayne, he's seemingly not as tough as he is when he's Batman. Like he gets beat up more. I'm like, what? You don't have superpowers when you put on the cape, buddy.
Maybe it's got some padding that he helps him out.
Makes him more confident. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he did. They did say that he did have extra padding, or at least like a Kevlar type situation in the first Batman movie. Because in the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton, he gets shot a couple times and he just jumps right back up. So there's some padding protection in the bat suit, which had proto bat nipples. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Not as prominently featured as in the next one, but they were there.
No, they were there.
So there's a bomb about to go off in 2 minutes, and the Graysons are like, hey, we can get this bomb. Come on, family. Let's hang off each other and save the day. And, of course, that goes really well. Chris O'Donnell, Robin, Dick Grayson, whatever. He does manage to get the bomb kind of out of the way, but then Two-Face sees them, shoots the rope up top, and every single Grayson except Robin is dead.
Yeah, because he manages to get the thing out of the building and into the ocean, and I was like, so many dead fish.
And you talked earlier about Batman having super strength. He pushes a fucking sewer grate open, and where is that circus? Because it's under the sewer?
No, it's not under the sewer. He's on a rooftop when he kicks that thing out into the ocean.
But he opens a sewer grate.
Well, it's the top of the circus tent or
But why
building.
was it a sewer grate?
I think it's in a building because there is like brick wall when Bruce ducks out to go get changed into his bat gear. There's a brick and there's a hallway, so it's in a building. So the only thing I can think of is that because the building is so old and historic, because that's what Gotham is supposed to be like, that the vents and everything for stink pipes and steam and things like that are all made out of like wrought iron or cast iron.
I still was like, it took me a second to come back after that because I was like, were they underground? Like, it just, the fact that it looked like he was coming up out of the sewer like a fucking Ninja Turtle was just weird to me. And the fact that he was able to lift it. And then, of course, the bomb explodes in the water. Like you said, Nathan, many dead fish.
And 3 dead Graysons.
3 dead Graysons.
Because Two-Face is an amazing shot. Because he can shoot a rope from down on the ground all the way up at the top of this building.
With, like, a machine gun.
Yeah.
Like a semi-automatic.
They can't hit anybody when Batman's around.
No.
Shots go everywhere, but he can take off the Graysons with one, like, boom, boom, boom.
It's because he's got buck fever, man. Like, he sees Batman and gets all nervous and shaky. Can't aim straight.
Okay, guys, my favorite line, though, is right after this, because when after this has happened, this tragedy has occurred, we cut to Wayne Manor, and Robin is going to stay with them, and Bruce Wayne, I don't know if it's Bruce Wayne or Alfred or somebody, but they say, like, well, you can't go back to the circus. It's halfway to Metropolis by now, which, first of all, Superman reference, but also, why is the circus still going? They just had this tragic death of 3 performers.
Yeah, take a day off.
That's the one thing that stuck out to me. Well, the thing that stuck out to me was when Dick originally refuses the help of Alfred or Al and Bruce Wayne. Bruce is like, yeah, no, sure. Go ahead. You can go. A fellow like you, I'm sure you'll land on your feet. What a terrible choice of words.
Yeah. Alfred also makes a really in poor taste joke later when he asks what's in the locked room, and he said Master Wayne's dead wives, and I'm like, I don't know if you need to be making dead people jokes right now.
Yeah, no.
But I just thought it was weird that the circus was like, well, we lost our act and it died in a horrible tragedy. Well, time to go to the next town.
Still money to be made.
Tickets to be sold.
Is that a harsh indictment of the circus in this movie?
The show must go on.
All right. Okay. Carnivals, circuses, professional wrestling, they've been known to do that sort of thing. I won't hurt.
Yeah. So also Dick Grayson gets over his family's deaths pretty quickly because he's like, oh, maybe you should, I don't think there's not a gas station around for a while. Maybe you should come check out and fill up or whatever. And he's immediately like, wow, you got a lot of cool motorcycles and cars. Wow, Bruce. He says Bruce so many times. He's like what you talked about last week, Nathan. It's like that soap opera, or a couple weeks ago. It's like that soap opera name dropping.
Oh, where they say that anytime you talk to a character, you have to refer to them by name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good thing that Dick Grayson is a bit older in this one than, the younger Robin, because you look at this and you say, this is somebody who's grooming somebody, because he's like, look at all these cool things I have, and, you can come live here with me and ride this motorcycle. And it's like, this is a problem.
Feel the power between your legs.
I could be your new family. Oh my god. And then, of course, like in every fucking Batman movie ever made, we get a flashback to his parents getting killed.
Oh yes, the flashback, as I called them. Everybody knows how Bruce Wayne became Batman. Everybody.
And here's the thing, though. They actually had an interesting take on it in this film. Because the whole journal thing, which gets cut out a lot of the film, because Bruce finds his father's journal, and he finds out that it was his fault his parents got killed in the journal, because Thomas Wayne writes, I didn't want to go to the theater, but Bruce wanted to go to the theater. And so they went to the theater. So it was all Bruce's fault that his parents died. That's never been, developed in this film, in the Batman mythos before. And I was like, oh, wow, something new. But no, we're going to go with the pearls.
We also didn't get the cutscene of Val Kilmer fighting a giant bat, so fuck you, studio.
Release the Schumacher cut.
It's a real thing.
I'm actually, I should clarify, I'm kidding. I don't care if any cut is ever released. I'm tired of fans asking for additional cuts. Stop it.
You got the Snyder cut. It's over. Great. Good job. Move on with your lives.
Watch it for another 4 hours and just stay out of our way.
Stay out of our way. We got things to do. Alfred, I kind of do like the relationship between Alfred and Robin. It's a nice like father-son type of thing, or grandfatherly, I guess. He says, he finds out that his nickname was Robin because he flew in like a robin to save his brother one time. Didn't save him the second time. And buzzing.
Brendan, no qualms with hating on on Dick Grayson
Robin
for not being where he could be.
Way to go.
Yeah, you saved everybody else in the building, but your brother died. Stupid.
We get a scene of blatant padding here because Two-Face lures Batman in dressed like a homeless person, pushing a shopping cart, and that leads to nothing. It's just another failed attempt.
Oh, we get to see the fucking Batmobile go up a wall.
That's it, though. Like, I don't know why this scene is in the movie.
It's to show that this film has no relationship to the laws of physics, basically. We're just establishing that in this moment because a car can go up and over the edge of a building like that based on a grappling hook. I don't see how that works.
I got nothing.
We do get the next. I think the next scene is Riddler or Edward Nygma is trying to pick out his Riddler costume because you got to choose his.
How does he have that thing hooked up? Like, how is that working technologically?
Again, he is the greatest programmer.
What he's done here is he has put his face on the statue of David, Michelangelo's David. But it's a statue of Michelangelo's David with no wang.
Good PG-13.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm pretty sure they would have been like, it's fine. It's Michelangelo's David.
Yeah. Joel Schumacher was like, too small, cut it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, he's trying to decide on a name, and somehow he's got that Frank Gorshin Riddler mannequin set up between these like two, like a green and a red buzzer every time, and it's like a shopping montage, right? It's like he's putting on a different clothing, and he's like, no, or next, or folds his arms.
Oh, and he's also saying like ideas for his name.
Captain Kill.
He hasn't settled. Yeah, he hasn't settled on the Riddler yet.
Question mark, man. And then eventually he looks at the Frank Gorshin Riddler thing, and he just like stares at him, and he's like, thank you. Thank you so much. So yeah, we don't see what he does, but then we cut to Two-Face's lair, and I could talk about this for the rest of the episode.
Oh, 90s Drew Barrymore, my goodness.
And Debi Mazar. Yeah.
Yes.
But this lair is nuts. Like,
Oh, yeah.
By the way, it only works if Two-Face is facing in one specific direction.
Right, if he turns around, it's
all off.
Although if he does turn it around the other way, it does work with his yin yang thing that he had on the custom parachute.
But if he turns sideways, it's like it loses all the effect.
Yeah, no, it absolutely. Yeah, he can only face one direction or another. If you turn to the east or the west, you're blowing the feng shui of the whole thing.
And that leaves him open to getting it. You know, the Riddler can sneak up on him because he always has to look that one direction.
Because he has a face statue behind him. For those who haven't seen the movie, which I'm assuming is almost no one, you've all seen it. But he has a big statue of a face behind him, and it's one half is it looks like Two-Face. And on top of that, Drew Barrymore and Debi Mazar are like his ladies, I guess.
Sugar and Spice.
Is that their names?
Yes, it is.
That's their names. Yeah.
So Sugar is obviously like Drew Barrymore, so she's like the good
Yes.
side or whatever. And Debi
Goodish.
Mazar, yeah, well, they're both evil, but Debi Mazar is Spice, so she's like the kind of nasty side. And they both prepared these like feasts for him.
Yeah.
She's like a wild boar and donkey meat, and Drew Barrymore has like salmon and poached eggs and stuff, and he's like,
It's like
it's just so crazy.
Again, the budget for this criminal organization is out of control.
Who are the contractors?
And as Brendan, yes, thank you. And as Brendan pointed out earlier, he's never successful in any of his endeavors.
No, he gets stopped every time.
Every single time. The only time he's successful is after this scene.
Yeah,
Because when he gets a bunch of money, we never see him successful at that ever before this. But yeah, so he's just like, reveling in this. And then, boy, oh boy, the Riddler shows up in full Riddler gear.
Riddler and Two-Face and their
And
meet
Francis presses stop on the VCR and takes the tape out and wraps it around and cuts it up into pieces, I'm guessing.
yes, absolutely. This is terrible to watch this as he overacts and hangs all over Tommy Lee Jones, and I'm just like, this is wrong.
If you don't stop picking that's never going to heal.
I did like that line.
I know that this is a crazy performance, and he makes every single choice. But I think there's a part of me that can't separate myself from it because I watched this at a very impressionable age. Yes,
Developmental.
Yep. So this is like part of my DNA. Like I can't say Jim Carrey is bad. If people tell me Jim Carrey is too much for this, I'm like, I totally see what you're saying, but I can't get on board. Like I can't separate myself.
I get it because I don't know if you know the film Hamburger the Motion Picture, but
No, I don't.
Hamburger the Motion Picture is a comedy, supposedly about a crew of people who are sent to a university that teaches you to run a fast food franchise.
I have seen this movie
with Dick Butkus in it, and
oh my god!
And the main
having flashbacks.
The main character can't stop having sex. Every woman wants to have sex with him, and if he doesn't graduate college, he won't get the money that his grandfather, I believe, has left him. It's a terrible film. It's undeniably terrible. I love this movie. I will watch it anytime I can see it. It's not available on DVD or any home video streaming anywhere. I have an MP4 file of it that I watch, and
sorry, I would love
Like
if you
old-
just had an MP3. You're like, I'll just listen to the audio.
Here's the
to
thing: it's got great songs in it because they're ridiculously catchy songs in this film. I'm not gonna sing them.
Wow.
But it is a terrible film, and I love it, and I get it because I watched it as a kid on HBO in the middle of the night because there's a lot of TNA in it, and so that movie to me is a touchstone. And so for me, Hamburger the Motion Picture is my Jim Carrey.
That's your Riddler.
Wow.
But he basically convinces Two-Face, like, I can help you get Batman. He shows him the brain device with sugar and spice, because who cares about them? They're just dumb ladies, right?
And they watch WB cartoons because, Warner Brothers owns the rights.
Right.
And one of them's watching, like, how is it, like Elmer Fudd, but he's dressed as like a I don't know, like a cherub or a cupid or something. And then, of course, Spice is watching Sylvester the Cat in Hell, I believe.
Yeah, because Sylvester is the evil cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly,
I like how he orchestrated it to be those particular cartoons. Like, he was ready for this conversation.
Interestingly, Sugar and Spice were named Leather and Lace originally, but that was deemed too racy, so they had to change it to Sugar and Spice.
We're gonna rate it R, Joel. You gotta change it.
But all like the oiled up, flexy chested dudes, perfectly fine. Leave that in there. It's cool.
That's
Joel.
what they
It's
should
cool.
have called the cheerleading bank robber movie instead of Sugar and Spice. It's called Leather and Lace. By the way, that's probably a coming soon. So yeah, he convinces them. He convinces Two-Face, help me become the smartest man in Gotham, and we'll find out who Batman is, and then we'll kill him. We'll humiliate him first, and then we'll kill him. We'll go the Bond villain route of taking way too long to kill someone, and it'll totally work out great, and don't worry about it.
And Two-Face is, all right, I got to flip the coin.
And yeah, and then thankfully the coin lands on heads or something.
Heads, yeah. It's like heads we do this, tails I blow your damn head off.
And we get a crime montage. And I know, Nathan, you talked about how there's one particular scene that goes too far, but I love this scene because he's like, Two-Face, show me how to punch a guy. And when they punch the guy, is it a real person? It's not, right?
I don't know.
I think it is.
It's wild because I'm watching this scene
because they got guys, they got them all tied up. They're all like,
I think they're hostages or something.
Hostages.
Okay, because like when I'm watching it this time, I'm like, it doesn't look like they're moving, and I'm like, maybe in the world of the movie, they're real people, but I think they used mannequins. But yeah, of course, Two-Face like easily knocks out the guy, and then Riddler hits him and goes, "Ow!"
Yeah,
great stuff. While this is happening,
there's a quick cut back to that's where you get the sly thing from Alfred where he tells Robin that the Master Wayne's dead wives are in there.
Right.
It's actually the silver closet. And then
didn't we get
for
karate laundry?
Oh, actually, yeah, I actually that happened before
right.
because I have the note tied bow instead of tie bow.
Yeah, Robin inexplicably doing karate with his laundry to dry it. For
As
no
you do.
reason. They steal a lot of money, by the way.
They do, and it's all to fund the building of the box. That's not a fucking box.
No, and
it's
a
like
blender.
it's like a winged blender.
Yeah. And I know they get a lot of money, but like the way that this box, the Nigma box, great name, goes from nothing.
No, it's not because it's not a box.
It's not. It's terrible. But
No notes.
The fact that no notes, perfect. The fact that it goes from an idea in his head to a
Mass production
multi-billion-dollar success in like what 2 days?
Yeah, basically.
No.
Like I'm like with this.
It's Schumacher time, so I mean they're never super clear with that either.
And here's the thing: it only seems to exist in Gotham.
Yeah, how is what?
It's a test market,
But if it's just
like the Nintendo in New York in '83.
he becomes a more successful businessman than Bruce Wayne. They actually point that out in the movie, like within a night.
Yeah.
He robs the place and basically just puts it all on an account, and he's like, mass produce these and go.
Yep, I can stop being the Riddler because I'm a millionaire now.
Yep. We get a lot of shit that would be interesting if they put any, if there was any, any real reveal or point to it, but they put a lot of shit into this whole thing where, Nicole Kidman's talking about like dream catchers with Bruce and, are you having bad dreams? These are for your dreams. And again, it's interesting.
I feel that those dream dolls, there should have been something a little more done with those because they are clearly a setup for something involving Two-Face.
Yeah. Because they're black and white right down the middle.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's interesting, but again, I don't know if it's because stuff got cut. I don't know if it's because it's Batman Forever, but it doesn't go anywhere ultimately.
No. And this is where they talk about the death of his parents.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of the stuff that was cut mostly from the film, is the identity of Bruce Wayne and what the death of his parents meant to him. And so I guess, when you cut out all that material, you end up with a scene like this that means, like you said, nothing, because it has no connective tissue to most of the rest of the film.
And Nicole Kidman also kisses him in this scene. I was like, okay, well, you should not be his psychiatrist.
You are conflicted.
You are very conflicted. I do love this scene. So at the same time, we find out that Robin he's not Robin yet, but whatever. He stumbled into the room that's locked. He finds a way.
Stumbled in. He engineered that.
Well, it was ridiculous. Like, he must have been planning this for months. I take it back. The Enigma box rose to success over the course of 6 months because that was planned so perfectly. And he ends up in the Batcave. And I do think this scene is hilarious because Bruce gets a call from Alfred on his watch.
On his smart watch.
Back in 1995, people were like, a camera on your watch.
Ridiculous.
Never happened.
He says Alfred is like, he took the car. And he's like, what, the Bentley? The Porsche? And he's like, no, the other car. And he's like, oh, this one? He's like, no, the other car.
Alfred's got jokes.
I love Michael Gough. We got to say, give props to Michael Gough for all 4 of these movies.
Oh, absolutely.
He's great.
Yeah.
So Robin goes joyriding in the Batmobile. He went from terribly grieving his parents to just having a blast real quick.
Again, Batman has no security at all. Anybody can just drive the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Man, from the jump, not even with this movie. I mean, let's see, Vicky Vale found out who he was. Everybody in Batman Returns kind of found out who he was. He sucks at keeping his secret identity a secret.
I mean, he's the only person who drives the Batmobile. There's no reason for anybody else to drive the Batmobile. So why would there be ability to drive it without him being there?
It shouldn't recognize anyone else's hand.
Yeah.
He's got a smartwatch. You'd think he'd have a thumbprint reader.
Yeah, exactly. And later on, or maybe it's earlier, I'm mixing things up, he leaves it under a bridge, just sitting there. So if Robin can jump in and take off in it, you just leave your Batmobile around in the street where people can just jump in?
But that's it. The thing is, they had that sort of thing happen in the first Batman movie, but it had that shell that went over top of it to prevent people from getting in and driving away.
Joel forgot the shell. Well, Robin goes joyriding. He finds those guys with Dayglow paint on. I believe they opened the show for us, so thank you to them. And they're going to do something horrible to this poor young female. Thankfully, she manages to get away, and we get a little fight scene here. Eventually, there's too many of them, and they get the upper hand on him. But Batman shows up, and they all take off. They all don't even barely fight him. And then all of a sudden, Robin turns around and it's just like, it should have been you! Ah! And starts attacking him. And I'm like, dude, you were having the time of your fucking life 3 minutes ago.
He's still mad at, his parents died because he didn't stand up to say he was Batman, even though he totally did.
But why wasn't he this mad when he found the Batmobile? His initial reaction was, I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed, he tries to pick up a streetwalker.
He does?
Yeah.
And do you know who those streetwalkers are?
No.
Those streetwalkers are En Vogue.
Oh.
Free your mind and the rest will follow.
So after he's done trying to pick up streetwalkers and having to, deal with saving this girl, then he finally has his crisis.
What I loved, by the way, it makes so much sense later when Robin's secret is revealed by the Riddler that he tried to pick up streetwalkers here because he's never had sex apparently. So he's like, well.
And then they go back to the Batcave and, Bruce tries to, explain to him that his road for vengeance isn't going to get him anywhere except killing more people, out of revenge. And I'm like, okay, cool. So he'll be the Punisher.
Oh, wait. Nathan, are you sure his name is Bruce? Because, again, he only said it 28 times in this scene. Yeah. He's like, I need your help, Bruce. I just need you to help me, Bruce. I'm going to kill Two-Face, Bruce.
Oh, Bruce.
Next is the Nigma
the gala
party.
Yeah,
The big bash.
Cause I know that because on my first note here is how's my mole?
Yeah, there's this big gala. Jim Carrey, Riddler, whatever, is rubbing in his face that he's a more successful businessman than him in the span of 3 days. I would rub that in his face. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Gossip Gertie is still way more into Bruce Wayne, though.
Do you know who Gossip Gertie is played by, actually?
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, in makeup. Great makeup work. It's actually
Kim
the
Basinger.
wife of Bob Kane, the inventor of Batman.
Oh, shit.
Oh
Yeah.
that's neat.
Yeah, and she does a really nice job at it.
Oh, yeah, she's a full character.
Yeah.
Better than the bank vault guard at the first.
So do you agree that that's the same guy? Like, it is the same guy, right?
He has the same crazy delivery. But yeah, so Edward Nygma is he manages to talk Bruce Wayne into going into the mind reading device because Drew Barrymore turns it off because he just wants to check it out. But then secretly she's got another glow stick in her boobs and she puts it back in and it starts reading Bruce Wayne's mind. Uh-oh. Thankfully,
Dark place.
Two-Face is an idiot and comes in and shoots the whole thing.
Yep.
Just starts. And then, of course, Batman comes in, to which the Riddler says, "Your entrance was good, his was better. The difference, showmanship."
I actually like that line.
Thank you. I gotcha. I knew it was going to get you with one of them.
Again, he's not against every bit of Jim Carrey's performance, just the
majority.
Jim Carrey being Jim
Exactly.
Carrey, as opposed to Jim Carrey being
I
the
just
Riddler.
wanted to win one of them. That's all. I got him on one of them. I'm happy. I'm ready to call it a day. What were they thinking?
That's it. We're not even doing the no. Don't take our
No.
word for it. No,
Take our word for it.
haiku. That's it. Brendan won.
I win.
Thanks for tuning in, folks.
Yeah, so there's a whole big thing here, big shootout and fighting, and in the midst of this, Nicole Kidman, she nearly gets assaulted, but Batman saves her, and she kisses him and says, "Hey, come to my house at midnight, because we gonna fuck."
Yeah.
Time and place, Doctor. Time.
Oh,
and
she
place.
grabs him and full on kisses him.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there are gunshots going off.
And also, this is when Chris O'Donnell has decided, or Dick Grayson has decided to don his old acrobat outfit to be Robin.
He makes Alfred go and get it, and I'm like, that outfit has no powers. Just
There's not even any Kevlar in it like the bat suit.
Just be you. Is he worried that Two-Face is going to know it's him? Like, by the way, that's going to make him more think that it's him.
Yeah, you saw him in that costume already.
It really does make him stand out. I mean, bright red and yellow and green.
Oh, but so yeah. Batman
Who do you think is
starts-
hornier? Who do you think is hornier, Dr. Chase Meridian or Catwoman?
Chase Meridian.
Oof.
Yeah,
Which Catwoman?
Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman.
Oof, that's a hard one.
I think Chase, because there are scenes with Michelle Pfeiffer where she doesn't want to fuck.
'Cause if you'd said Annie Hathaway, I would have like, no, not Annie Hathaway.
No.
Annie Hathaway is classy Catwoman.
Yeah. Now,
Classy.
Halle Berry, on the other hand.
Coming soon. Eating tuna. Okay, yeah, I'm saving for the other day. So yeah, Batman gives chase. Two-Face, they catch him into like he jumps down and he gets caught in like this tube, and then survives. Two-Face, of course, yells out, "Why won't you just die?" And,
to which I noted, "Thank you, Two-Face. You're saying exactly what we're all thinking."
Thankfully, Batman has bat flame retardant cape.
Okay, where did that come from?
I don't know. He clicked the button and it was like he doesn't have a shell on the Batmobile, but he's got one on his cape that'll protect him from high incendiary fire.
Yep.
You got to establish these things first before you can use them.
They did that a lot in these early movies. Like even the first two, like they had stuff in the utility belt where I was like, okay, let's. This is not Inspector Gadget.
I think it was okay. No, it was just after this scene when I went to see this in theaters that the friend of mine who I went to see it with at the time, we were so underwhelmed and we're expecting something so completely different that we just started bagging on the movie. Luckily, we were at like a matinee, so there was like nobody else in the theater, and it was everything was the bat this, the bat that, the bat this, the bat that, because we were like, this is like the terrible Batman '60s brought to life on the big screen.
Yep.
And I can't argue with that because Val Kilmer plays it like Adam West played Batman in the original, while everything is insane around him. You know,
if he had done the Batusi, I would have been like, ugh, that's it, I'm done.
I would have loved it.
So Bruce is quite upset about Robin getting involved in everything. And yeah, I mean, and he starts naming off of, he's like, no, I'm your partner now, which, interesting choice of words given the dynamic.
The camp level of this movie, yeah.
Right. But he starts naming off possible names for himself, and he says Nightwing at one point, and I was like, oh, I see what you're doing, movie.
there are a few cute little moments like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other one earlier was the Catwoman reference. I thought was kind of fun. But after, so Batman basically blows him off, and he's like, no, blows him off, and says, no, we're not going to do this. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I gotta go see the doctor.
Yeah, well, because then he turns to Alfred, who is now all of a sudden like Dr. Ruth, and he's like, should I fuck Nicole Kidman tonight?
Alfred's like, go hit it.
Yeah.
Hit it hard, sir.
But I think she's hiding an accent, by the way. So that might be fun. So he goes to Nicole Kidman's place.
He leaves the Batcave to visit the soon-to-be Bat Crevice.
and they're making out, and then she's like, you know what? I think I like someone else. I got to this point, and it's not great. I think my fetish is over. And he turns around and like Francis said earlier, does that real weird Joker smile.
Yeah, it's like Charlie Brown got kissed. That's the kind of smile.
I don't know how this isn't the biggest meme on the internet, because like anything that's good should be followed with a gif of him smiling.
But when he gets back, I guess Nicole Kidman fucked the Batman out of him because he wants him to be Bruce Wayne. He's like, you know what? I want to be Bruce Wayne. Batman's done. I'm not going to be Batman anymore. I'm always so sad when I'm Batman. I just want to be horny. So he wants, and Robin, of course, is very put off by this.
Oh yeah, because he's quite upset because this is it's screwing him out of the opportunity to get revenge for Two-Face killing his parents, and Bruce gives him that speech again about how it's not going to get him he wants. And I have note here, big talk for a guy who actually killed the guy who killed his parents.
Yeah,
I mean, in this universe, if we're talking, if this in this universe, because Michael Keaton kills Jack Nicholson in the first movie, who we find out the Joker was the one who killed Bruce's parents. Spoiler alert for a movie that came out in '89.
Now, to be fair, he does try not to actually kill him in that one.
Yes.
So I mean, he doesn't like cold-blooded murder him, because that's what Robin wants to do. He just wants to cold-blooded murder, not cold-blooded, but you know what I mean. He wants to murder Two-Face.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Cut to Halloween. Kids are coming to the house. Kids are walking right up to the door at Wayne Manor and getting candy. Again, no security.
Okay. Where is Wayne Manor in relation to Gotham? Okay, so like if you go back all the way to the 60s series, it took a while to get from Wayne Manor to Gotham. It's always on an outskirt, like in a rural type area, because there's always like a cliff or something that they drive the Batmobile out of from the Batcave.
Are you saying where do those kids live?
Exactly. How did these kids get to Wayne Manor?
You know what? If any kid worth their salt knows one thing, it's where the good candy's at. You've got to go to the upper crusty side of town if you're going to get the full-size chocolate bars and full cans of soda or pop, depending on your regional dialect.
That is a long walk for a Hershey bar.
Were you never an 8-year-old?
If we went to
free full-size chocolate bars, you'd walk a mile and a half.
If we went to the rich side of town, we got a ride from somebody's parents.
Well, They walked up to the. I'm guessing they walked up to the gate, then walked in, or drove up to the gate and walked in.
Guys,
cars.
Are we sure that Two-Face and Riddler didn't just give them a drive?
Oh.
Distinct possibility.
They're right there, and they look at each other and say, "Happy Halloween!" They come to the door, trick or treat. Alfred falls for it for some reason. They come in, bop him on the head, and
he is dead.
Well, when I was a kid, I was actually pretty worried. Well, Bruce is talking to Dr. Horny Pants though, and he's gonna come forward and tell her he's Batman and everything. And then when she kisses him, there's a moment where she's like, "Oh shit!" She figures it out for herself.
Those are bat lips.
Those are bat lips. Nobody kisses me like that. But you guys were talking about Jim Carrey's manic performance. I think this is maybe the height of it. When he's in the Batcave just throwing these little bombs around, the squeaky noises.
This is terrible, yeah.
You know, it's always risky introducing a tamed animal into the wild. They may have trouble adapting to their new environment.
While this is happening, Two-Face and his goons are catching up to Bruce and Nicole Kidman, and I don't know why this makes me laugh so much, but they turn around and like knock the couch over just by like walking over it. That just I don't know why. That was just such a funny like choice in that scene.
Bruce did get shot. That's what took him out.
That's kind of overwhelming.
Does he though?
Well, he gets winged with a bullet.
Okay, but there's not a single mark on his face.
I thought there was a little bit of blood on the forehead when he wakes up.
See, I don't know. I was so confused. Even as a kid, I was confused by that because I was like, wait, is he dead?
Yeah, you think he's dead at the moment.
Yeah. And then, of course, Two-Face is about to finish the job, and Jim Carrey, Riddler says, if you kill him, he won't learn nothing. And gives him another riddle. And they take Dr. Horny Doctor. It's redundant. Don't worry about it. And take off.
Yes. And then we're treated to Riddler's Chris Jericho jacket.
You like the jacket? It helps me while I'm jogging at night.
I mean, do you hear yourself?
That's absolute. That's Jim Carrey, 100%. The Riddler wouldn't call attention to that. He just looks snazzy and know that he looks snazzy.
You guys can't hear this, but Francis has to mute his microphone every time I quote the Riddler because he is just laughing up a storm. Like,
I think the word you're looking for is weeping uncontrollably. Actually,
so
it's the sound of a man dying inside.
Bruce comes to and starts to put all these riddles together. They eventually spell it out with the initials. Oh, it's Mr. E, Mystery, Mr. Enigma, Edward Enigma. And I do like the comment from Alfred where he says like, you do figure these things out quick, or whatever he says.
No, he says you're really quite clever, despite what people say.
Yeah. I'm like, even Alfred is like, this is a bit far. I know.
And the only suit left is the prototype with the sonar,
Bat butt,
and of course, oh god, I did not need that. I didn't need the bat cheeks. The bat nipples earlier were a little too far, but then, and there was actually bat bulge in the first of the movie, and then they just completed the whole thing with bat cheeks at the end. So we get bat nips, bat bulge, and bat cheeks.
The bat cheeks have a nice music cue, though.
Yeah, I would love to be in the meeting when they discussed that shot. Like the storyboards, everything about it, just like the lighting, the DP's just like, listen, I need a sea light here.
Schumacher fighting tooth and nail. The shot stays in. It stays in the movie.
There is no movie without that shot.
The butt stays in the picture.
Yep.
Alfred, meanwhile, has designed Robin a suit very quickly.
Yeah. Apparently, he can't do that for Batman, but he's got all the time in the world. He can take care of that for Robin.
And boy, what a codpiece on that one.
What are you calling him? Robin.
Quite the bird.
Yeah, Alfred made some interesting choices with that suit.
Yeah.
Alfred's a freak.
Well, he actually put the nipples, the proto nipples on that one too.
Oh shit.
And interestingly, the sonar one with the supple bat cheeks doesn't have the proto bat nipples on it because the bat logo is too wide.
I'm also going to argue that the payoff to the sonar, he didn't need it.
Garbage. Yeah,
No.
that's right.
Didn't need it at all.
That makes
so
no
anyway,
sense.
so they go. There's a Riddler sign in the sky. They finally agree. Batman and Robin. Batman is like, okay, a partner. Here we go, and they're gonna team up, and they take the bat boat and the bat plane.
Batwing.
Batwing.
It's
Yeah.
a Batwing. Batwing.
So as they're flying, the Riddler logo is in the sky because he's taken over that too. But Batman flies through it, and Gordon is like, "Yeah!" Like, is he that guy too? is he a security guard too?
Batman,
It's, you know what?
hey!
It's Pat Hingle. It's his second time on the show.
Oh,
previously
yeah.
from Maximum Overdrive.
Yep, and
Although he played that character with a bit more subtlety.
he does have amazing vision though, because Batman is going by in his Batwing and does like the thumbs up thing,
Thumbs
Gives
up.
him the thumbs
and
up.
Gordon sees it. I think.
Yes, he does.
How?
Oh, he should he should have had the glasses like Gary Oldman, and then that would have explained it. Is because he's wearing corrective lenses. That's why he can see it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say those glasses from Me, Myself, and Irene that the little albino guy has got, and he looks up and he sees like the guy's face in the window in the plane.
Oh,
Yeah, that was wild. So here we go. Time for the big coming up on the big finale here.
oh, we get Riddler and Two-Face playing Battleship with Robin blowing up sea mines.
You're going to make Francis laugh so hard he's going to fall out of his chair.
A14.
Sweet.
B12. And my favorite vitamin, I might add.
Well, they do that, and when they blow up the Batboat, it's so terribly done because it looks like the Batboat looks good. I mean, as far as a campy Batboat's supposed to look, but when they blow it up, the next shot is just the shitty boat that's been blown to pieces.
You sunk my battleship! Oh, really? Yep. And the funny thing is,
that's right.
they don't need to be playing Battleship. They just have bombs set up in the water that they could just be setting off, but they decide we're going to have fun with it and play Battleship. I will say that the way that scene is shot and the music is really good. Like the music in the background and the way it's like overhead and they both sit down at the thing and the lighting. Like, I think this movie at times looks really cool.
The production value on this film is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it is well made as from a technical perspective. Everything else is a problem.
It's how cheated I felt expecting another Tim Burton-esque movie and then getting this.
So after
This.
after the bat boat blows up and we cut to the stock footage of a canoe blowing up, Robin is in the water getting assaulted by scuba henchmen because I guess they were just waiting there, ready to go.
Well, as they do.
Yeah, Batman gets shot down too, but his plane turns into a submarine. Wow, way to give Robin the shittier vehicle, dude.
My note here is, it's a submarine now. Oh, fuck yourself, movie. Just
Wait till we do the fourth one.
oh God.
So he saves Robin. They end up on this island, and this is my favorite little reference.
Holy,
Go ahead.
I
Nate.
hate.
What does
I
Robin
hate this
say?
moment.
holy rusted metal, Batman. What'd you say? At the ground, it's all metal and rusted, full of holes. You know, holy rusted metal, Batman. Oh,
I thought that was cute.
just that.
If I didn't value my TV, I would have punched it at that moment.
Oh, come on. That was
It is
fun.
so unnecessary. I enjoyed all the other little references and gags, but this one it's so forced and like unnecessary in this moment.
Francis is an
Now-
enemy of joy.
this tower or island or wherever this is supposed to be Edward Nygma's base of operations for his Enigma box, right? This is supposed to be like
Yeah.
corporate headquarters, right?
Well, I don't know how you could tell because, like, you know, there's all these question marks all over the place.
But this is what I'm
very
getting
subtle.
at. Why would you do that? I mean,
Exactly.
and also the people building this gigantic, I don't know, monolith to Edward Nygma and his Nygma box. How do the contractors not know? It's like, why are we putting all these death traps in a corporate headquarters?
Why is there so much theatrical lighting in this building?
Yeah.
Also,
you know that it's weird that we're building this ladder, but they're not standard rungs. They're all shaped like question marks.
Also, we would have all these questions if he was a normal human being, but at this point, he is supposedly getting brainwaves from everyone using his Enigma box and is like a fucking genius. And he still has this stupid island with all the question marks, hiring all these contractors that are definitely going to turn state's witness and go against him. They're definitely going to Michael Cohen the shit out of him later. And he doesn't see it coming.
I have rocket boots as my next note. Because Batman has fucking rocket boots.
Well, that's how he gets out of one of the traps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Robin has a nice little fight with Two-Face where he punches him a few times. That's for my mother. That's for my father. That's for my brother. And this one's for me. And I was like, are you a ghost? Because everyone before you said you was dead.
Yeah.
So that
It's a big twist. It's like the Sixth Sense.
Oh, shit.
Robin's been dead the whole time.
We flash back to scenes with Batman and Robin where he's just talking to himself.
That's why there's always red around Robin.
It all makes sense. Oh my god!
And then the fight doesn't go as planned though, because he doesn't kill Two-Face. In fact, when Two-Face is about to fall, Two-Face actually says, "Let justice be served. Let me die." And Robin saves him, of course, like an idiot. Because Two-Face immediately captures him, and we're faced with Batman's choice.
Yes, well, and it is. I do get why they do it though. Why he saves him, because it does kind of complete his arc, right? Robin's little arc of like not just murdering Two-Face and being like rather being like sending you to jail.
It's still stupid to let this murderer at least incapacitate him.
Yeah. It's
Exactly.
stupid the way he does it.
You
for sure.
pull him up and you knock him out.
Yeah.
for sure.
You don't pull him up and like hug him, which he pretty much well does.
No. Yeah, I do like how when Tommy Lee Jones comes up and he's like, "Oh, you're very brave. You're very brave. Stupid, but noble."
Yeah.
So you mentioned Batman's choice. Okay.
Much like Sophie.
Here's my question about this.
And yes, the Riddler is a Nazi. Go on.
Neither Two-Face nor Riddler knew about Robin,
No.
right?
Oh,
There's no Robin. So, but there are two spots in this trap, one for Chase, one for Robin. Why are there two choices there?
Maybe they thought he was going to bring Alfred along.
Or maybe they had designed plans on kidnapping Dick Grayson, because even though Robin's not a thing at the time he goes into the booth, Dick Grayson being his ward, as they often like to refer to him as, is a thing.
But do they even know that Dick Grayson's still in town? I don't
Yeah,
think
he was
they
supposed
do.
to have left town.
Well, he would have been, again, if they read his mind, they would have read the memories that Dick Grayson was staying with him.
Wait, guys, I have a theory. They built that cage, that second cage, between the time that Two-Face got Robin and Batman shows up upstairs. If he's the smartest man in the world, he can get it done. He's got contractors with ready-built cages just sitting in the mail. Just send that out right now.
Are they on retainer? Like, again, the budget is insane.
Maybe they're just playing on Batman's necessity to save everybody, and they would have just stuck anybody, like maybe Sugar or Spice, in one of the tubes, and they would have been like, "You need to save both. You can't save both of them. You got to pick."
That would have been
Either
crazy
way,
if they were.
you're ending a human
That would
life.
have been crazy if they were like, "Save my henchwoman or Robin," and Batman's like, "Robin."
Yeah.
Oh no, it would have been the henchwoman or Dr. Chase.
Oh, you went like
Definitely
Dr.
Chase.
The one I'm fucking. So yeah, no, he is given a choice: save Robin or Dr. Chase. And this is where, like I said earlier, Jim Carrey reveals that Robin is a virgin and wants to get laid. And what does he say about Nicole Kidman? She's just like obsessed with Batman. Yeah,
something like that. Batman, he kind of knows that there's no way out. This is Kobayashi Maru entirely. Everybody, the right people get that joke. And he makes a play to the Riddler. I have a riddle for you, which, of course, being the Riddler, he can't resist, which is one of the things they kind of got right about the character. And he uses a pretty simple riddle about being a bat, and then of course he throws his batarang and smashes the Enigma machine, sending all of this information directly into the brain of Enigma, who for a while there looks like the lead singer of the Prodigy.
But why does he have to use the sonar vision? Because he throws it into the Enigma machine. The Enigma machine is fucking huge.
Massive.
Well, and it's not just that. Like, the idea of him using the sonar, I feel that there should have been some fight scene after this. But the fact that everybody was blinded when he threw the batarang into the Enigma machine, that they were all blinded by the light, revved up like a deuce, another
Riddler in the night.
Right. There you go.
But yeah, and then he does this.
But they don't.
He does this nonsensical double save, where because Riddler is like freaking out, but he still presses the button and releases both the cages, and he saves both of them somehow.
Somehow, because she would have been snapped in two,
exactly,
and Robin's arms would have been pulled directly out of his sockets.
Yeah, yep. But you know what? Fuck physics. But thankfully,
this movie did.
But Two-Face is still around. And he's getting ready to shoot them, but then I guess it's a good thing Batman brought all his change for the bus that day. He just
where are these coins?
This is yeah, right. But this is the scene where he's gonna just straight shoot them, and he tricks Two-Face into flipping the coin.
Yeah,
and that's where you get that really cool, serious Harvey Dent thing before he flips the coin. Something that they could have used so much more in this movie. He flips the coin. Batman, as you said, takes his bus change or his laundry change, whatever, throws it up. And, of course, Two-Face being him, he needs to have the outcome. That's like one of his psychological tics. And he starts trying to reach and grab at his coin. He falls to his doom.
But that's the thing. By the way, that's the only time Bruce Wayne has ever touched loose change. In his life. He probably didn't even know what it was. He's like, he flips a what? A coin?
Coin?
I guess I'll get some of these coins.
Sounds like a made-up word to me.
That sounds fake, Alfred.
By the way, if you want to argue that Batman intentionally killed Joker, here's your proof of it, because he basically kills Two-Face the same way, just like by accidentally making him fall to his death.
Yeah, and the look on Robin's face when he watches him fall, I almost wanted him to turn around and be like, oh, so it's okay if you kill Two-Face, because you guys don't have a personal vendetta. Oh, wait, you do.
Yeah.
Cool, I guess I'm just chopped liver.
My family don't mean anything.
Yeah, the next movie is just Batman versus Robin.
Oh, that is Under the Red Hood, actually, if you want to check that out.
Is that the one with the wolf that eats the grandma?
No.
Oh, okay.
We get Cro-Mag Riddler.
And he's so fucked up. I don't understand quite what happened to him, actually.
Well, I'm guessing there was brain swelling, but I'm not sure how that affected the bone structure of his forehead, because his head, it's almost like he's got like
a massive brow. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like because he's messed up. All of his stuff his motor skills and his speech centers are all screwed up because he got a massive dose of all the information into his brain. So they cart him off to Arkham Asylum. I thought that this character was Dr. Hugo Strange.
I believe it is, yes.
But it's not. She says Doctor something else, and it's not Doctor Strange. It's like Burton or something.
In the alternate ending, it's definitely Strange.
Yeah.
It's like there's no doubt. You look at him, and that's the character.
Like you just thought the ending was weird, you mean?
Well, just no, Doctor. There's a character who runs Arkham Asylum called Dr. Hugo Strange.
Benedict Cumberbatch?
Not that Doctor Strange. Not Stephen Strange. Hugo Strange.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she goes in to basically make sure that the Riddler doesn't actually know who Batman is, because that's what he claims.
Because he's been raving that he knows the identity of the Batman for the last couple of hours, they say.
And who does he say is Batman?
I'm Batman. Flip, 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 flip.
And then Nicole Kidman comes out and is basically like, yeah, your secret's safe, dude. He's totally insane.
He's a wacko.
Definitely a wacko.
Yeah, he's definitely a wacko. That's my medical opinion. Anyway, let's make wet mouth sounds. Bye forever.
While Alfred watches.
And then hold me, thrill me, kiss me, kill me, please.
And Batman and Robin run towards the camera. Credits. So that is Batman Forever. We spent a lot of time on that movie, future Brendan. So have fun with that. So now we come to the end of the show where we kind of give our take on this. So Francis, I don't believe we had this when you were last here, but we have a couple categories here to choose from. So
Sure.
Would you say that this movie was worth a watch, a drunk watch with friends? Would you commit head trauma to forget it, or avoid like the plague?
I would definitely say this is a drunk watch with friends because it is a interesting movie to watch. There are really good performances in it, and then there's Jim Carrey. So, if you like Jim Carrey, which I guess some people do, Nathan, Brendan.
I like Jim Carrey. Like I said, if he has the right director, he can put forth a fantastic performance.
Okay.
The only problem is Joel Schumacher wasn't like, okay, dial it back, just dial it back a bit.
Let me correct myself. If you like Jim Carrey at 11, then this is the movie for you. If you don't, then there are other parts of this movie that are enjoyable enough that if you just like, hey, a couple of friends, we make fun of it as we watch it, it'll be a good time.
Nathan, what do you think?
You know what? I still have to stand by it's not avoid like the plague. It's not so bad. Like we're not heading into like postal, cheerleader ninja or ninja cheerleader move territory, but I'm definitely going to commit some head trauma to try to forget this because I saw this movie once and I never wanted to see it again.
Well, now you never have to.
Because I'm going to commit head trauma to forget it, yeah.
Well, also, you just never have to watch it. I mean, I don't know if you need to go that far, but...
If they had struck Pat Hingle and Michael Gough, is that it? The guy who played Alfred?
You want someone to hit them?
No, just struck the actors from those roles and put new actors in those roles, I might have been able to get behind that. But because they're there, it's connected. And I once heard a theory that this movie and the next movie are actually like somebody said, they're probably movies that exist within the Tim Burton verse of Batman, in that Batman became such a pop culture phenomenon that they made two campy movies and that these are those movies. And I'm like, you know what? Go pound sand up your ass because no, Pat Hingle and Alfred are the same friggin' actors. No.
Well, I will disagree because I am going to give this my highest honor, and I am going to say worth a watch, folks. I love this movie. It is. I accept every single criticism about it. I am well aware that it is a flawed film, and yet I love it nonetheless. It is a fundamentally stupid movie. And I enjoy watching this a lot more than I do the next one. I will say that as well.
So it's your Hamburger the Motion Picture.
It is my Hamburger the Motion Picture. If you could take any poll quote from this episode, that's the one right there. But we are going to move on. We are going to take a brief break. We'll be right back after some word from our sponsors.
What were they thinking?
And we're back.
Yes, we are back.
And we talked about that movie for a very long time. So let us roll right into the low haiku, Nathan.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the low haiku, 17 perfect syllables to describe the movie we've been talking about ad nauseum.
Mm-hmm. So, Francis, as our guest, would you like to read your haiku first?
I would like to read my haiku. I actually wrote 2. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Perfectly fine.
Because I had 2 things I needed to talk about here. One, obviously. Carrey is so broad. Tight suit is not a good look. Take it down a notch.
Very good. Very good.
I almost broke my microphone.
And the other, obviously, on another topic that we discussed. Chase is so horny. Bruce Wayne doesn't go downtown. Alfred likes to watch.
Very good. Very good.
Very good.
Thank you.
Nathan, do you have a haiku for us?
I do. There's bat everything. I want my bat money back. This movie bat sucks.
All right. Carrey wants to laugh. Tommy wants to outdo him. Kidman wants to fuck.
Very good.
Thank you. Still doing this? Oh no.
Bird is the word. I said a bird.
All right, Peter.
Sorry. Surf and bird.
Well, we talked a lot about this movie, but Nathan, who cares about what we said? What do we always say?
Well, I believe we always say.
Don't take a word for us.
That's right. We say don't take our word for it. Nathan, on Rotten Tomatoes, what percentage of the critics liked this movie? It couldn't have been too high.
38%.
Okay, and what do we?
68 reviews.
Oh, 68. Okay, that's not bad for a '90s movie. What about the audience?
32
Lower. So about
out of 250,000.
So almost exactly a third of the audience thought this movie was a rootin' tootin' good time, or at least fine,
or at least passable.
Yeah. Well, let's leap in. Let's take a look at some of these critics' reviews first here. I do like this review from very brief from Gene Siskel, who simply says, "It doesn't add up to much, but it's certainly entertaining." It's a fresh review.
Oh, okay. Mike Massey from Gone with the Twins, he writes, everything that Burton established with the first 2 Batman movies has been tossed out the window to make room for colorful neon lights and grossly comical character designs.
All right.
3 out of 10. 3 out of 10.
Ooh, glowing.
Matt Zoller Seitz for the Dallas Observer at the time wrote, unlike Burton, Schumacher doesn't let his stylistic and thematic fascinations run away with him. He keeps one hand on the wheel at all times. The result isn't as emotionally daring and visually outrageous as Burton at his best, but it's better paced and more consistently entertaining from one sequence to the next.
Wow.
There's no score on this.
Oh, sounds like a hot take, though. Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly says, by now, Jim Carrey is doing sarcastic takes on his own sarcasm, and there's something funny and a little scary in that. And that is a fresh review.
John J. Puccio, I'm assuming that's why he changed to Puccio. It's a little easier to pronounce. From Movie Metropolis. Oh, I see where this slanted review is going. He writes, Batman Forever is louder and gaudier than Burton's films, so be prepared. 5 out of 10. All right.
Yeah, this one from Richard Corliss of Time Magazine. Richard Corliss is one of my favorite if I'm looking for a review that's bad. Just a savage review. The only thing Schumacher and his scrupulous craftswork forgot to give the movie was life. The energizing spirit of wit and passion that makes scenes work and characters breathe.
Wow. Savage Richard Corliss. All right, my last critics one is from Alex Maldi of Joe Blow's Movie Network. says, I defy you to find any DC movie that has as much fun existing as Batman Forever does. I wish we had seen Kilmer return to don the mantle of the Bat at least one more time, but I will enjoy the one we got.
I agree.
Yeah, that's a Francis pseudonym there.
Well, my last one comes from Kevin Fiddler of Henderson Home News from Henderson, Nevada. And I'm reading this one to absolutely troll Francis. And it says, the best Batman ever, James Carrey is the Riddler. 5 out of 5.
And
that hurts.
James, too.
Not Jim. James. Proper Christian name.
I'll try to carry on, but my final critic review is from Terrence Rafferty for The New Yorker. Schumacher's direction is coarse and slovenly. The picture has the self-conscious jokiness of the Batman TV series and the smudged, runny imagery of a cheaply printed comic book.
Okay. Much more negative.
Oh, wait. Brendan, you know Ken Hankey.
Oh.
He didn't care for it either.
No?
He just wrote real quick, where is Tim Burton when you need him? 2 out of 5.
Oh, Ken. We miss you. All right,
hardly knew you.
Let's get into the audience review. Let's get into the cream of the crop here. Starting off with Steve H., who can only assume is Steve Holt. He gives it a 3.5 out of stars. Says, I have watched this more times than all other Batman films combined and will defend it till the day I die. 6.5 out of 10. So Steve Holt is not good at math. Unless he just rounded up, I guess. But yeah, okay, maybe he did that. You're off the hook, Steve Holt.
My first one comes from Patrick W. I can only assume it's Patrick Warburton.
Mm-hmm.
And he writes Joel Schumacher's take on the franchise and takes over and runs it straight into the ground. Schumacher made Gotham City skyline almost something like a Blade Runner meets Greek statues. The script was very awkward, and Nicole Kidman seemed a bit out of place, other than Bruce Wayne's token girlfriend the entire film. Only shining light in this film is arguably the most perfect casting of the entire franchise as Jim Carrey played the Riddler. With the camp of this film, Carrey is right at home in the steals the scenes, but it's not enough to save the film. 2.5 out of stars.
I've got one here from Conrad A. Pretty good Batman movie, and now Batman will get Robin as a partner, and they will take on Riddler and Two-Face. So who will win? 3 stars.
So he's writing it while he's watching the movie, but not after he finished watching the movie.
Seems like it.
I hope he's genuinely curious and doesn't know. This is from JM. I can only assume former one-season Saturday Night Live cast member Jay Moore. Says, huge improvement after god-awful Batman Returns. An incredible Batman movie if you actually know the first thing about the character. 5 stars.
Ooh.
I love when they get indignant.
Yeah.
I have one here from Vinny M. I can only assume it's Vince McMahon. In pseudonym. He writes, I thought this was one of the worst in the franchise. They did all the wrong stuff in this one. There were no decent parts, and the script dialogue was a mess. It was absolutely terrible, and the acting wasn't good either. It's clear why Michael Keaton chose not to be in this movie. I don't recommend this one at all. 2 out of stars.
And he should know he produced The Marine.
I got one here from Jake C., who I believe is Jake Sillenhall, which is a distant cousin of Jake Gyllenhaal.
Wait, are you saying his distant cousin just has a rhyming last name?
They changed the name at Staten Island.
Oh.
Staten Island, not
Staten Island.
Where they immigrated.
That's why it didn't work right.
Oh, okay.
They totally messed up. I cannot sanction your buffoonery. Tommy Lee Jones to Jim Carrey, but also me to Joel Schumacher. 3 stars.
But still likes it.
Still likes it.
This is a very simple review. It's from Talinda H. I don't have a celebrity. They said simply, I have seen all the Batman movies. 5 stars.
Yay, Talinda.
Well, my review, I is a little under suspicion. It comes from Michael K.
Uh-oh.
Like, it only assumes it's Michael Keaton.
This sucked.
And, actually, he writes, honestly, enjoyed this cartoonish Batman movie. 4 out of stars.
Wow. Michael, it's good to see that he's so humble.
Jason N says, is it bad that Jim Carrey is the most believable character in this movie? 2 stars.
Okay, I enjoy his performance, but even then, I'm like, no.
No.
This must be Jason N's a relative. This is my final review here. This is from the N.
Ooh.
Oh.
Who just, again, very simple. I liked it. Then again, I like 99% of films. 4.5 out of stars.
Hey, he's honest.
99%. God, I wish I was that happy.
This person left no name.
Coward.
But they wrote, "Oh boy, ... This movie is a mess. A glorious, sloppy mess. 2.5 out of stars."
All right, send us home strong, Francis.
Well, my final one is from Dane T. And he says,
Dane took
Yeah, Staten Island.
Staten Island again. It's his distant cousin.
Wow, did they just give them laptops when they came in? This was in 1997, right? Does that...
a bit nauseating at times, but watchable enough. 2 stars. I love a film that's nauseating but watchable.
Yeah, I like puking, but also like enjoying it. Well, that's it. That's the movie. Very quickly, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about what's coming up next week before we go any further. Just a little hint-ski. Nathan, do you want to give us a hint as to what we've got coming up?
Yeah, okay. Family?
Oh, it's Hamburger the Motion Picture.
Damn it! And now we're going to move on. Guys, we're still dealing with this pandemic, but we're inside. We're watching movies. We're watching TV. Francis, what are you watching, bud? Tell us one thing in particular that you watched recently that you would recommend.
Well, I actually made a return to the theaters, and I saw the Sparks Brothers, which I thought was fantastic. And I'm not a Sparks fan. I mean, not that I don't enjoy their music, because after watching the movie, I definitely enjoy their music. But it's just so well made. Edgar Wright, just a fantastic documentarian. I mean, I always loved his movies, but now as a documentarian, he's excellent. A lot of humor, a lot of heart. It's just a great movie. Definitely check it out in theaters, because the sound is amazing if you can do it safely, which I did because I was the only person in my theater when I saw it. So it was quite a good time. I definitely recommend the Sparks Brothers.
What about you, Nathan? What you been watching, bud?
Well, bud, I actually I took the plunge this past week and subscribed to Riff Tracks Friends, which is kind of like their Netflix service, and I gotta say I'm getting a lot of enjoyment out of it. I did get to see Super Mario Brothers movie with Mike Nelson, Bill Corbett, and Kevin Murphy riffing on it the entire way, and it made the movie so much more enjoyable.
I'm sure.
Which is crazy because it's already super good.
It's got the name right. It's got that right.
Yeah,
in
it's
the
right
title.
there.
Yeah, when you have the title of the movie saying that it's good, you know it's going to be good.
Well, it's also very Mario.
Very Mario. Almost too Mario. That Nintendo was a little nervous with how Mario it was. I watched a movie very similar to Batman Forever, because it also starts with a B, and it was called Blind Fury. It's a movie about starring Rutger Hauer, who is
Oh my God! You saw that?
Yes, it's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. Rutger Hauer is a vet who gets trained in the art of being a blind ninja, essentially.
It's like sword kata.
Yep, sword kata. Comes back, is totally blind, and helps a kid, and hijinks ensue. It's insane.
It's so good.
It's
terrible, but great.
It's actually, I think it's genuinely pretty great, honestly.
Yeah.
Because like it's almost John Wick level, and it's in some of the fight scenes like are actually really well shot. There is a scene where he's driving through town, and again, he's completely blind. So it's great. Blind Fury. I think you can watch it on Prime.
It's on Prime. Yep.
Or just rent it. Just give them money. It's great. Watch it.
Because if we want to get that sequel.
Oh, not with Rutger, though.
Yeah, no.
But as we come to the end here, we'll start dishing out some plugs. So, Francis, thank you for coming on once again for a Val Kilmer film. We had plenty of spirited discussion about this one. But speaking of Val Kilmer films, you mentioned you also have a podcast. So tell the good folks about that.
Yes, absolutely. So it's called Kilmercast with 2 Ks, Kilmercast. You can find it on all the major services, and we do a film each episode. And so the way it works is we go from the first film that he ever made to the last film, and then back and forth, and eventually we'll meet in the middle with Spartan, which will be the final episode. Except, he keeps making movies, so we will have to have more episodes, it looks like. So we talk about the film, we talk about Val Kilmer, we put the film in context. It's a fun time. And we got some really good movies coming up, even though, because right now we're past a bit of his worst film period. And so there's some really good stuff coming up in his later career that I'm really looking forward to talking about.
Nathan, does Montrose want to say a few quick words?
Couple of quick words. Yeah, I'll get it for a second. Hello. It's your good friend Montrose Monkington III here. I'm going to keep things brief, as you chaps have been talking for quite some time. I'm just going to say to all the folks out there, you certainly can check out my YouTube channel, Montrose Monkington TV. You can also be friends with me on Facebook at the Facebook group Montrose Monkington III Esquire and Friends. And finally, if you wish to tweet at me, you can do so on Twitter at Montrose III. That's the number 3RD. Thank you. More later.
Perfect. And you can also find us on all the podcast apps. Our home base is Age of Radio.
Big time.
We're on Twitter and Instagram at WWTT Podcast. We're on Facebook. We're everywhere. We're Redbubble, TeePublic, Patreon.com/WWTT Podcast. Check us out. Give us $1 a month. You know you want to. I'm tired, guys. It's been a long day. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I want to thank Francis once again. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
But Nathan,
yeah,
do you have any questions about this film?
About this movie? Oh,
I mean,
boy.
Select them.
Okay, I'll try to keep it. Okay, so, all right. So, with the movie that was produced by Tim Burton, who directed the first 2 Batman movies. And, I mean, with a movie where you are staying within the universe because clearly 2 of the same actors are reprising roles from the first 2 movies. And with a movie where you've already instilled this kind of a brooding, darker feel, which is, where Batman should be, especially given at that time in the comics. And with a movie where you are really getting 2 origin stories for the price of one, Riddler and Robin,
and a lot of Two-Face,
and a lot of Two-Face, but not really. You really only get one face because you don't get to see the other face too often. Right? And so with all that being said, Joel Schumacher et al., I simply must ask, what were they thinking?
There used to be a graying tower alone on the sea. You became the light on the dark side of me. Love remains a drug that's the high and not the pill. But did you know that when it snows, my eyes become large and the light that you shine can't be seen? Baby, I can pay you to a kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. And now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave. much a man can tell me, so much he can say. You remain my power, my pleasure, my pain.